Today we'll be reading In the Woods, Who's Been Here by Lindsay Barrett George. It is cool and sunny on this autumn afternoon. The smell of sweet fern is everywhere. William, do you want to go for a walk? Asks Cammie. Sure, says William. Let's go. The children follow a well-worn path into the woods. They walk under an old cherry tree. They see an empty nest. Who's been here? A northern oriole. Cammie and William come to a big rock. A tree has split it apart, and a flat stone juts out of the tree. Who's been here? A red squirrel. The trail follows an old stone wall. The children and their dog Sam climb over it. A clump of milkweed plants grows in the field on the other side. Something hangs from the milkweed leaf. Who's been here? A monarch butterfly. Cammie and William climb over a smooth gray tree that has fallen across the trail. The bark has been gnawed off the branches close to the ground. Who's been here? A snowshoe hare. Cammie finds a blue feather on the trail. Then she finds another one on a leaf, and 5 more under a laurel bush. Who's been here? A goshawk and a blue jay. Uh-oh. Gray rock breaks up the leaf-colored hillside. Something black catches the children's eyes. It is a small, dark cave. Sam runs ahead and barks at the opening. William stops and grabs his sister's hand. There are bleached bones on the ledge outside of the cave. Who's been here? A family of foxes and a woodchuck. William and Cammie stop beside a large gray boulder. Something strange is stuck to the rock. Who's been here? A mud dauber. An orange wood lily stands in a sunny clearing. The flower is almost as tall as Cammie. There is another on a stalk next to it, but the flower is gone. Who's been here? A deer. Cammie and William follow the path on their way home. The rich smell of sweet fern fills the air again. They find a basket on a blanket under an old apple tree. I wonder who's been here, William asks, but Cammie knows. The end. So after reading our book this morning, we are gonna go take a walk on our trails and see if we can find any animal signs and figure out which animals have been around and on the property.
So right here you can see quite a bit of scat, and this scat is from geese. You can see that this scat right here is drier, and so it's a little bit older. However, there is some fresh stuff, which is darker and more moist, so you can tell it happened more recently. But this whole pile is likely from this brood of geeses over here. So there's a couple adults, but there's quite a few goslings, and they have been roaming around this whole area this morning, just looking for food, hanging around. Mom and Dad do get a little territorial over them, so if you get too close to them, you will be hissed at. So I'm maintaining a respectful distance from them so that they feel safe. But it's a pretty cool sight to see so many babies in one area. So we're gonna take a quick look at some scat. And scat is a more polite word for the term poop. And so right here on this ground, you can see these little piles. And these little piles are actually poop from earthworms. And earthworm poop is called castings. And these castings are very full of nutrients, and they're very good for the soil. However, earthworms are actually an invasive species. They're not natural to here, but they do have some beneficial impacts in dirt, and they aerate the soil, so they add more air to the soil, which is good because plant roots need air in order to grow. And they also increase the nutrient composition within the soil as well. And you can see quite a few earthworm castings along this trail. By looking at the marks in this tree, we can make a couple of inferences about the animal that was here. And by looking at the tree, we can see that it's dead. You can see a lot of foliage around this tree, but that foliage belongs to other plants. And so this dead tree is a perfect spot for insects to live. You can see ants crawling around on the bark, and there's also sow bugs and roly-polies that are crawling throughout this tree. And the animal that was here was a woodpecker. And woodpeckers have excellent sense of hearing. And so they can hear the bugs scuttling around in the tree, and they know exactly where to peck. And their beaks are incredibly strong, so they can break through this wood and find a nice snack. I can tell who's been here by this track in the woods. And typically, deer tend to walk on the same trails. They have the same path within the area of land that they call their home. And so this path right here wasn't created by humans, it was created by deer. And as you can see, it's pretty well worn. But this path happens to lead right across our boardwalk into the river. So the deer that are using it are probably looking for a water source. A way to see which animals have been in an area is to look at tracks. And a good place to look at tracks is in mud, because mud acts as a very good press for an animal's foot, and you can usually tell a lot from the animal by their track. And today, I am right by the river, and there is some muddy area over here, and you can see that there's a very nice track right here. There are two dents, and so because of this track, I can tell it was a deer. And there's quite a few deer tracks. Not all of them are very clean, but this one right here is pretty nice. And likely this deer was coming over by the water to probably get a drink, and he turned around and went back that direction, probably back towards its den. Right now you can see a pair of geese with their two goslings. They're far away from Mom and Dad, but not too far. And Mom and Dad are pretty protective over them. And you can see these geese, you can usually see their tracks, you can see their poop. But another animal that you can see that has been here today, unfortunately, are people. And people tend to leave their mark wherever they go, leaving trash, leaving footprints, walking in places where they